We need to take just a moment to talk about events and handlers, and specifically the error event. You may have heard of this event, and for many JavaScript developers, when they hear about it, they think it can be used to handle events. Well, this particular event is intended for the image tag or the script tag, and it fires if the resource is not found and loaded onto the page. This allows you to handle that issue and load an alternative resource. However, this is not a general event that can be used for other situations. For example, it does nothing for a button tag. Let's look at that really quick. I've added a button here to my page. You can see it down here at the bottom. And then over here, using query selector, we select it. We add an event listener to it. And then the click event is what we're doing. And then inside of that function, I throw an error, problem in button click. So with that added, well, let's go ahead and see that it creates an error for us. We see it, uncaught error, problem in button click. Can we then add an event listener for that same button for the error event? Let's take a look at that. So if I add error like this, function, grab that event, and then let's just do a console.warn again. Just going to say error occurred is all. All right, let's see what happens if we now save this. We can watch down here. And now when we click the event, it doesn't handle it. The error still occurs, it bubbles up, and it's reported to the console. So this error event is intended for script tag, image tag, like I said, and lets us know if those don't load properly. However, when working with a browser, the window object does allow us to capture and handle errors that bubble all the way up. Let's take a look at that. Now, this is also an error event, but it doesn't return an event object like normal events that we handle. In fact, this has been around for a long time, this particular event. And what it returns is a message, URL for the location of the event, and then a line number. Let's look at how we'd set that up. And also, it's recommended that you use the DOM0 event handling technique like I'm doing here. On error, like that, and then we set that equal to a function. Now, as I said, we get passed in a message, URL, line number. Now we're going to console.warn. Let's see, an error has occurred. And then let's go ahead, let's go ahead and display our message as well, like this. Now, will this capture? This will capture this error right here. And let's take a look at that. So if I save, and I come back out and click, well, we get the warn message here, problem in button click, but we're still showing up the default as well. So how do we prevent that default from occurring? Well, what you do is you simply come into the function here and you return true like that. Now when we click, that doesn't show up. Now this is going to handle any error that occurs. So for example, if we called a function that didn't exist, it grabs that error, reference error, test is not defined. So it's going to capture any errors that bubble up to that point. Now, this technique is great for handling all errors that occur in an application on an HTML page. But I wouldn't recommend using this as your error handling solution. Use the other techniques we've discussed, the catch-all, and those techniques for asynchronous coding. Then if you need for a specific application to capture things that are left over, then this can work great for that. All right, let's move on.